Now we have a lot of players in Nigeria, so we need to give a chance to the lot of players to they can show us their quality. So it's difficult to me to talk about other thing about the pitch, you know. So uh, I can tell you something. We are focused. We have a game project. We want to build a group. A group. We want to create an identity with the game project, with the plan project. So we need to put in this team some player who can learn quickly this game project. So uh, Unity Cup is a great moment to try some player, to try some other systems, to be ready in September. I was in Nigeria. I watched few games about the National League, and I spent my time to analyze this player, to analyze the other player. This is my job, and I think they have some quality, and they deserve to have a chance. I'm sure about they can bring lots of intensity, lots of aggressivity, lot of envy to play for this jersey. You know, I picked 10 player about 10 player of National League. 10 player. It's and I tell you they are good player. I think Ahmed is a good player. He's a great player. I think every Nigerian know that. This for me. This is the reality. This is the fact. Second, the second thing, he can bring his quality, and he can bring his experience. He know the game because he play lots of game, lot of big game. So he can bring something to the group. So my vision is like the other player to give him a chance. He need to take his chance and show us what can he do. And after that, this is my job. He can play. He play. If he play, if he make a great game, this is my job. You can come or you can. But for him, I think he has a lot of pressure because he need to be very good. In Malian team, we were strong in the midfield. With the Nigeria team, I think we are strong. We are strong in the midfield, but we are very strong in attack.
No, I don't want to talk about arbitration. I'm in London. I'm in London. Don't pay back for
Delivery comes in. Oh, it's a great goal! They got a goal, Nigeria!
All right, we had to start off with the training session, and of course, words from the coach of the Super Eagles, Eric Chell, ahead of the Unity Cup game in England, which comes up tomorrow. And of course, it promises to be exciting as the training session has already been done. Talking about the first training session and the second as well, which happened earlier today. And of course, we're giving you the pictures all the way from England. No other place you'll be able to get it as far as hot updates as far as the Super Eagles preparation for the Unity Cup, which comes up later tomorrow against the Black Stars of Ghana. My name is Jerry Apeliohai, and the show promises to be exciting. It's Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. Of course, I'm not alone in the studio today, and of course, virtually joining us, we have it Maiwa, who joins us today once again. Maiwa, how excited are you with the pictures you've seen from the training? We've heard that the foreign stars have been doing very well, but we cannot say the same for the Npfl players. They've not been able to measure up to the demands of Eric Chell in training.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. Another good Tuesday to talk football. Yesterday while we were discussing this, one of the things that I said was this. If you look at that particular list, I don't think the home-based players they stood any chance, in featuring in that particular game. At the end of the day, maybe we'll get to see one or two of them, but with the list I saw yesterday, I don't think HL has a concrete plan for any of our home-based players. I would not be surprised if at the end of this, the next qualifiers we are going to play is we are going to see a whole lot of the foreign-based players and probably one or two home-based players just to make up the numbers. From all indications, I don't think HL, believes in our local players, and I think it's going to play out tomorrow. That's the reason why we are getting feelers that the local guys, the home based players. So it's wrong to call them local guys. The home based players, the players that play in the Npfl who are professionals, do not match up. I do not think so. I don't think everybody invited that are foreign based, that plays for big club in Europe. I don't think all of them even measure up to play for Super Eagles. However, I think that is the direction FTL wants to go. I'm a bit disappointed. Remember the press conference he gave yesterday, talking about he has watched some couple of games. He believed in the NPFL player and the rest of that, but that list does not indicate that.
All right, but if you're taking a look at it, I think he has given the NPFL players a fair chance by inviting as much as 7 of them. And if the players are not cutting it out in training, is it the fault of Eric Chell? Because you'll be giving them equal opportunities to show their talent and show what they have in stock. But observers who have observed the training have come out with a report that the NPFL players are not matching up with the tactics and the demands of Eric Chell. Eric Chell may have a certain way he wants to play, and the NPFL players, does it mean that the quality of coaching in the NPFL is not at par with what is expected of national team football?
Well, I don't think so. I think one of the things that we have constantly said is this: how many games did Eric Chell go and watch? That's number one. Number two, out of those invited, you invited somebody from Kano Pillars, who is in the person of Ahmed Musa. You invited an Ahmed Musa from Kano Pillars. Where did Kano Pillars finished on the table? What happens to players from Remo Stars? What happened to players from Ikorodu City? Those teams that did so well in the league. How many of them were part of this particular team? Those are the things we need to look at. I mean, if Remo Star had gone on to want to win the league, I would have expected that 3-4 players out of the home based players should come from Remo Stars. It shows the quality of Remo. It shows the quality that Remo Stars has. That's the reason why they won the league. A club that is less than 10 years in the system, has done so well to have win the league. It shows they have a quality. They have some top quality players, and I would have expected Chel, to pick those players. Another thing we should look at is this. We have said consistently that the Chan Eagles are the Super Eagles team B. How many of the Chan Eagles are in that particular team? The Chan Eagles is the congregation of all the best players in our league. How many of the Chan Eagles are in that particular team? I said yesterday, immediately I saw that list, I knew for a fact that the home base stood no chance. And that's the reason why we are seeing this report. The reason why we are getting this report is very simple. Tomorrow, when the fields, when we have players who have nothing to do with the Nigerian league playing, we will not have room to criticize HL because they've already told us the day before that the guys are not matching up. I don't believe that. I don't think so. The list, the composition of the list has indicated that he doesn't believe in the home based players, and I will not be surprised if those guys do not turn up.
All right, definitely it's a very, very critical situation as far as the Super Eagles situation is concerned. Let's look at the number of players. We have about 10 of them who has been invited alongside Ahmed Musa, who definitely we cannot say is more or less of quality of the home-based players. And these are players who have done well in the league. Definitely we are going to ask questions about whether they are good enough in terms of their performance this season in the Npfl. Because if you take a look at the names, we have Ifeanyi Onyebuchi. He is a defender. There's Junior Maduka, Unduka, I beg your pardon. There's Ojeto Waliu, as well as Sadiq Ismail, who was instrumental for his side. Talking about Remo, there's Savio Isaac, Collins Chinemere, Sikiru Alimi, and of course there's Adamu Abubakar, who plays in the Npfl, as well as Papa Mustafa, who definitely stories have been that he has been searching for a club side in Europe. That means he has not been a mainstay for Niger Tornadoes as the season wraps up. So how many training sessions has he even had? How many game time has Papa Mustafa, for instance, had prior to his second invitation now to the Super Eagles? Those are the questions we need to ask. The quality of the players who have been invited. Some have been consistent in their league club side in the Npfl. So what is now the yardstick of inviting the Npfl players if those who have been active are not getting invitation? Because you are now denying the chances of the players who have been playing regularly, who have the quality to be a part of the Super Eagles. So it now defeats the purpose of inviting the Npfl players.
Well, the thing is from what I saw yesterday, I knew definitely that the Npfl players, they are just going there to make up the numbers. That's number one. Number two, the Unity Cup, I would have expected it to have been an opportunity for for the home-based players, for the Nigerian-based players to be able to express themselves. I would have expected that Chel will be looking at the way of the home-based players. Another thing we should consider is this: we have been throwing a whole lot of stick at Eric Chel as regards inviting and Ahmed Musa, who has been absent from the national team for a very long time. Even in Kano Pillars, he has not been a 100% regular for Kano Pillars. The same fate should have before Papa Daniels too. Papa Daniel has not been playing consistently for Niger Tornadoes. He has been searching for a club, hampering the number of appearances he had for Niger Tornadoes. These kind of players should not be making the team. That's the reason why I said I don't think Eric Chel, actually knows the home-based players in detail. The home-based player that is invited. I will not be surprised if some of these names were handed down to him just to keep Nigerians short, to show that they are giving the home-based the Nigerian-based players a looking. Because I do not see the reason why we don't have more players coming from Remo Stars. I do not see the reason why we only had about 2 Remo Star players in that particular team, and the rest from every other club. And I'm not saying Remo Star has all the qualities and the rest of that. let me give you a typical example. If you look at the Spanish side that won, between the 2008 and 2012, the Spanish side of 2008 and 2012, bulk of them comes from Barcelona and Real Madrid. And those were the two clubs that were doing really good in the Spanish La Liga. I think the same thing should apply, for our own best players too, for the players that play in the Nigerian league. We just had the Real Monster win the league. We had the, other teams, coming second, third. Those are the teams you should be looking at to get the core players from. Then you might want to pick players from other teams. But your first, second, third in the league, those are the people that should get the priority. I can bet it with you. I don't think Chel knows our local lads, and that is the reason why we have the names that we have. If he has gone to watch the guys and he knows the in and out of our league, I don't think he will be picking some of the guys on that list for as their own base players.
All right, definitely big questions will be asked about the selection process, which has been the bane of most Super Eagles coaches. And when it comes to the NPFL players, it's unfair if the best are not picked due to the fact that sentiments are being applied in terms of the selection process. Meanwhile, Chelsea had a complement of all but 4 of the invited players for this tournament, with the exception of Uche Crisantos of Itafe, Maduka Okoye of Udinese, which we've seen pictures of him on social media making his way down to London. All things being equal, he should be in camp as we speak. There's also the absence of Almas Obasoje of Tanzania side, Singida, and the Belgium league top scorer Tolu Arokodare of Genk. During this section, which is in preparation for the game against Ghana tomorrow, Chel gave a hint on how he wants the team to play, with emphasis on constant running in possession and also out of possession to cover up spaces and win back the ball. His high demand suit the duo of Moses Simon and Tella as they both stole the show, but the same can't be said about the players picked from the NPFL, led by Captain Ahmed Musa. They all struggle to come to terms with Chelsea's instructions to always be on the run. However, a member of the backroom staff said it's due to the fact that they haven't had a proper rest since arriving in England. And later today, which is this evening, with all the invited players expected to be available, they will have another training session. By the way, with this observation, they've not had enough rest, okay? Maybe that could be an excuse. But in the NPFL, how many of our NPFL teams practice possession football? That's the question. How many of the players are used to possession football, running all the time on the pitch? I've seen the NPFL. This is not something I've seen when NPFL teams play. Sometimes I get bored. I don't see the quality. I just see a lot of players doing kick and follow, resting, and maybe just one brilliant attempt and it's off again, and so on and so forth. So I'm not expecting that they will be all at par when it comes to the rigorous process of the NPA, talking about playing football as is obtainable in Europe. Like, unlike the likes of Moses Simon and Tella, who are quite pacey players, but the NPFL players cannot be said to have the same acumen.
Apologies for the darkness. PSN has done their thing, but in any case, I mean, the thing is definitely you can't compare the quality of those coming from Europe with the quality we have here. Yes, the quality is not at par. However, this is just like the first training session with Chel. I would not expect them, to pick things up quickly. Let me give you a typical example. We have a whole lot of players playing abroad, and one of the things we complained about when Chel was appointed earlier this year was the fact that the NFF took a longer time before they appointed a head coach. It's going to take a bit of time before the players understand the coach. Now let's bring that to perspective. What Chel wants to do is going to take a bit of time before the players will get used to it. And the reason is this: none of them has been given any chance, apart from Papa Daniels that has been part of the team before. Maybe Papa Daniels might be an exception. Majority of those invited, are players trying to understand what the instructor is trying to give them. This might be the first training session they've had with him. So definitely they are going to struggle. And as time goes on, as they continue to train under him and continue to listen to instruction, they are going to improve. I think it's too early for us to begin to throw the guys under the bus, because this is likely their first training session with Tella. They might struggle a bit, but I think they have enough quality to be able to catch up with what Tella is playing, with what Tella wants. I mean, for heaven's sake, these guys are professionals. A lot of them, they leave Nigeria here and go to clubs in Europe, and they end up cutting it in Europe. So I don't think the quality is lacking. I think it just takes a bit of time for them to be able to understand the rhythm of Excel, and that's the reason why they are struggling a bit.
All right, it's quite a difficult situation as far as that one is concerned. Meanwhile, taking a look at the situation, hopefully when all the players are in camp, they train again, we'll have a different kettle of fish in terms of the players would have had enough time to rest, acclimatize with the weather, and maybe stage fright and so on and so forth. Maybe the Npfl players will step up. But for the foreign-based stars, if the likes of Christianus Uche, who we hear that is going to be crucial to his plans, is not available as the first training session, how likely is he going to be available in full fitness ahead of the game against the Black Stars of Ghana, which comes up tomorrow?
Well, the thing is this, and that's the reason why I keep hammering on it. We cannot continue to over rely on our foreign based players, and the reason is this. A typical example: anytime Shemi Ajayi is not around, we struggle to find a replacement. Anytime Victor Osimhen is not around, we struggle in front of goal. Anytime anytime Anua Bali is not around, in as much as I still don't believe Nwabali has nailed down the number one shirt. But anytime Nwabali is not doing so well, there is this fright in terms of how do we cope. Or anytime even a true second who is lacking pace at the moment, they will begin to scratch our head. Who is going to replace him? Who is going to be the suitable replacement? And that's the reason why I've always clamored that we should desist from over relying on these players. We have a lot of quality in Nigeria here. If we give them a chance and we give them the opportunity to be integrated into the team, I think they will give us what we are looking at. I keep going back to Vincent Enyama. If Onibide had not taken us to the 2002 World Cup, I don't think Enyama would have been able to get his opportunity to be part of the Super Eagles, because as at that particular time, I don't think anybody believed a goalkeeper from a local side in Eyimba would be good enough to play in the World Cup. And Onibide gave him a chance, and look at what happened to Enyama after that. He served us for over 14 years, and he was one of our best goalkeepers for over 14 years. I think the same thing should apply with Chel. We've said it consistently. The Unity Cup should not be, yes, in as much as we want to win and just of that, should not be a must-win game. It should be an avenue for us to be able to look at those players that we'll be overlooking. And this would have been a better opportunity, a better chance for us to be able to assess our Npfl players, for us to be able to see if any of them will be able to make it, rather than relying, on the foreign-based players. One thing is very clear. The bottom line is what we are struggling with in the national team. I don't think this Unity Cup will solve it. If you look at the list and if you look at the way HL is going, I think he will continue to rely on the foreign-based players, which will not be good for us in the very long run.
All right, definitely will not be good for us on the long run if he continues to rely solely on the foreign-based stars. Okay, let's talk about the Russian friendly before we go back to the Super Eagles in London. We had the star of the senior national team of Russia talking about Andrei Mostovoy as I played down the absence of Super Eagles duo of Ademola Lookman Victor Osimhen from the team that will play against them on the 6th of June in a friendly game. And Lookman and Osimhen were left out of the Nigerian team by head coach Eric Chelle for various reasons, but primarily due to the long, exhausting season they had for their respective teams. And they won't be part of the Super Eagles team for the Unity Cup in England and also the friendly game against Russia, but Mostovoy, who have been part of the Russian team since 2020, feels the Super Eagles will still be a formidable team. Maiwa, the Russians are not getting carried away over the absence of Osimhen and Lookman, and you understand why. They believe that the Super Eagles still has the quality in spite of the absence of these two key players.
I think we have the quality on paper. Well, in any case, there's a Siri Diesel, who has been doing so well. At the later end of season, he did so well for Rangers. I think Siri Diesel might come in and step up. However, if you look at our previous games, anytime an Osimhen is not available, we struggle in front of goal. I want to say I think the Russians are playing mind game. I think that's what they are doing. Except maybe a Siri Diesel comes in, and does something fantastic tomorrow. If you go by what we have seen so far, anytime an Osimhen and even Ademola Lookman is absent, we struggle in front of goal. One of the key positions that we are lacking is the striking position, whereby if an Osimhen is not available, we struggle in front of goal. Well, I hope Siri Diesel will be able to step up and it will be able to confirm the in quotes now the in quote fears that the Russians are having. But for me, I think the Russians are trying to play mind games. If we look at our antecedent, without Osimhen, we are toothless in front of goal. I hope Siri Diesel can step up and see if we'll be able to do something fantastic against the Russians.
All right, and of course, we also need to talk about the likes of Tulu Aroko Dario, still not yet to the team, the likes of Moses Simon. We all need to step up alongside Siri Desas for this one, because we cannot continue to rely on Victor Osimhen alone, because if you take a look at the trajectory of our qualifiers, we have been on the struggling part without Victor Osimhen. And of course, this would be a big test for Eric Chell to see what he can do without the big names in this one against the Russians.
Well, definitely, I think this is an opportunity for Excel to be able to see how he can trick his team to ensure that he solves the goal scoring problem that we have anytime Osimhen is not playing. Also, this is also an avenue for the strikers to step up. I mean, anytime Osimhen is not available, those who have come in his place, they have failed to step up, and that's the reason why Osimhen has been very critical. Remember when he had the clash with Finidi and he was not part of the team. Remember what happened to us? We were struggling in front of goals, and that contributed to where we are at the moment. If we are a right thinking side, we would have resolved the issue of the Osimhen issue, whereby Osimhen was very rude to the coach, and the sports minister had to start telling people that are supposed to punish Osimhen to let him be, because he knew that we don't have a suitable replacement for him. Osimhen was holding us to ransom at that particular time, and this not me hating Osimhen or whatever it is. We all knew that the way he handled the Finidi issue was not right, and if we had other options, Osimhen shouldn't have been part of the team for the next 6 months. However, that's water under the bridge. So I hope Eric Chell is able to trick the team, and I hope the strikers that are playing right now, they seize this opportunity, they lash up onto this opportunity to give Osimhen a run for his money. As far as I'm concerned, in the Super Eagles, Osimhen does not have a competition, and the hallmark of a good team is that all positions in the team must have a suitable competition, and that makes those holding that particular shot at that particular point in time, makes them step up their game to even deliver more. So at the moment, I think the strikers, I hope they step up, and I hope Chell is able to trick the team such that it will be suitable enough for the strikers to be able to perform excellently well against Ghana tomorrow.
All right, of course, we also have a big test on the way for Victor Boniface. Is on the team sheet for that friendly game. A lot of questions have been asked about him. I hope this will be the chance for Victor Boniface as well to prove his mettle that he has been given countless of times. And Mariwa, you understand my reservations towards him. And of course, Umar Sadiq also will be tested in that game. And Kelechi Iheanacho, I'm not putting my faith on him. There's also Samuel Chukwueze as well as Nathan Tella. But all eyes will be on Victor Boniface and Umar Sadiq.
Well, the thing is very simple. I mean, your best friend Victor Boniface will be part of that squad. And I think the thing is I think we are a bit harsh with Victor Boniface. Yes, see the way he performs at Bayer Leverkusen, you will expect him to bring the same form to Nigeria and do the same thing. However, I've said it consistently. the way Victor Boniface is being deployed makes him ineffective. And that's the same problem Iwobi has too. If Iwobi goes to play with Fulham, the way he's being deployed is more effective than the dropping midfield role that we usually give an Iwobi, and that's the reason why he struggles. The same thing with Victor Boniface. Victor Boniface is not an out-and-out striker. However, we continue to play him as a top striker in Nigeria, and that's the reason why he struggles. I think if we want to see the best of Victor Boniface, I think there should be somebody playing ahead of him. That is when you see the best of Boniface. Is able to drop deep, play, behave like a playmaker, get the ball, get the ball, create a whole lot of space for the strikers to operate in. And the process of players running after the striker, he also has the opportunity to be able to run into the box and score. Your Victor Boniface is not somebody that will behave like an Osimhen that knows the positioning of a striker, and that's the reason why he struggles. I hope Eric Chell is able to deploy him properly. If he deploys him as as a striker, as a top striker, I think he's going to struggle again against Ghana tomorrow.
All right, you think he's going to struggle against Ghana tomorrow? And of course, we understand with feelings we are getting as far as that game is concerned. The Npfl is set to make as much as 800 million naira from that friendly against the Russians. I hope after this game we will not be hearing that the Npfl is broke. After the Unity Cup game, they know they are going to make lots of money. Don't worry, for the purpose of our Nigerian viewers all over the world, we'll be monitoring how much they will make. And not because the money is going to come to our pockets, but so that the Npfl will not say that they are broke after the game against Ghana and the Russian game. Of course, they're going to play 2 games in England, and they're also going to play the Russians. You can understand why the Npfl is hell-bent on making sure that this friendly goes. Even if FIFA has banned Russia from playing football, they're interested in playing those games.
Well, the thing is this, I mean, we need all the money we can get. However, I hope the 800 million is minus the money they are going to pay the players. I mean, the thing is this, and I want to throw stone at the EFCC. There has been a report of the NFF owing players match bonuses for over 2-3 years, and they've released billions to them, and these monies are still not being paid, and we are not hearing anything as regards the petition to the EFCC in order for them to probe exactly where the monies are going. I hope the 800 million they are going to make now is not going to go the way of the billions that was released to them, that they did not, give the players that played out to Nigeria. And I hope they have also paid, our national team for getting to the finals, because we know that CAF has released over $4 million to them. I hope they have paid the bonuses and match allowances due to the players that go to the finals or of the last Nations Cup. However, come to this particular 800 million, I hope the NFF will be able to give account of how the 800 million naira they are going to receive, of how it will be spent, or how they spend it, when they are being audited at the end of the year.
All right, it's just not 800 million, Maiwa. I've not gotten the figures of the Unity Cup friendly yet. Maybe when we get the figures of what they'll be getting from the Unity Cup friendly, then we can sum everything up and know how much to be entering the Gasol and the NFF board coffers as far as those friendly is concerned. And we hope they will not be owing Eric Chell and the players the bonuses of attending these friendlies as well. And I hope the players who are not likely aware of what is involved will be getting their own pay at the end of the friendly games. Hope it will not just be coming to play the friendlies and they'll say thanks for coming at the end of the day. Of course, we'll be monitoring. They have
done it before.
Yes, they've done it before.
They have done it before. They've owed people for 4-5 years. They've not paid. Even the federal government was generous enough to release money to them, yet they have not, remitted this money to the rightful owners. I mean, they've done it before. I will not be surprised if 4 or 5 months down the line, we are hearing news that those that played in the Russia game and those that played in the Unity Cup, they didn't get a dime. I hope the NFF will be able to be accountable this time around. And also, I've said it consistently, NFF, is a publicly run organization. We should be seeing their audited account every year. There should be a thorough audit of the NFF account. Let them publish their audited account. Let's see exactly where the monies they get, where it's being spent at, the allocation they get from FIFA, the one they get from the federal government, the one they will get from all these kind of games. How are they spending it? In the last 20 years, I don't think I've seen any audited account of the NFF, and I think we should start that now for us to be able to keep the NFF accountable.
All right, so of course, we should start that now and make sure that the NFF is accountable to the Nigerians, the Super Eagles, the players of the national team, as well as those they owe explanations to. And of course, they're going to be making lots of money, and of course, they should put their money where their mouth is. The coaches should not be owed. Anyway, we heard the sponsor is already settling the coaches, and the other national teams as well should not be owed, because the Super Eagles should also be able to feed the other teams. It's not only themselves, because they are the biggest money-spinning team as far as all of the national teams is concerned. So whatever they make should also spiral down in helping other teams. Not that, for instance, attending the AFCON, CAF should be able to give them appearance fees as well. Talking about the Flying Eagles and other national teams. Even I know that the Super Falcons is going to play friendly soon. So all of that, whatever they make, should be able to take care of the team. Myron.
Well, definitely, I think that has been the standard. But the question has always been, these organizations, they pay the money to the FAs, and I hope all these African organizations, CAF and just of them, I hope they go the way of the last FIFA World Cup. Remember, during the last FIFA World Cup, the organizers said they will pay the bonuses directly to the players, not the various FAs, because of news about paying them, and the players don't get paid for years. I think CAF and Co should follow this same model. Get the bank details of the players, pay them directly the match bonuses. Do not pay the various FA, and this is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Remember that at that particular World Cup, the issue was peculiar to all the African countries that participated in that Women World Cup at that particular time. The various FAs were owing them bonuses, they were owing them match allowances for months, for years, and that was what prompted that action. I hope CAF can follow suit and do the same thing, because we can't trust those that run football with money. They have done it before. The anti-corruption agency are not doing anything about it, and I don't think they will stop since nobody is checkmating them.
The faith in the anti-corruption fight to spread their tentacles to talking about the NFF and those who are running football. And meanwhile, the captain of the senior national team of Nigeria, Ahmed Musa, has reacted to the decision of head coach Eric Chell to hand him a recall after over a year out of the team. Musa was handed a recall by Eric Chell for the upcoming Unity Cup friendly tournament in England, but not for the friendly game against Russia on the 7th of June. It will be the first time he's involved since the last AFCON under former coach Josep Pesero. And of course, he says he's always happy to get a call up to him. It has been a very long time. But he doesn't think that it's going to make any difference. He said in an interview he was coy on his chances of getting to play in the team's opening game tomorrow against Ghana. And of course, he says he will just wait and see what happens. And of course, we'll take a listen from talking about Ahmed Musa, who talks about the teams and their preparation for the game tomorrow against the Black Stars of Ghana. We already see the comments on YouTube. The game is going to be 7 p.m. Nigerian time against the Black Stars tomorrow. And of course, we'll be here before the game on Locker Room to give you the analysis and what to expect for that game. We'll take a listen from Ahmed Musa. You're still watching Locker Room on Voice of the People TV.
I'm very happy to be back. For me, it has been a long time, but I don't think there's any difference. So we just wait and see the day of the game to see what is going to happen. As you can see, a lot of home-based team boys in the team. As you can see, like the coach, I think he watched a lot of game of the Nigeria League. So I feel very happy for them. So let's see what can happen in the game. Yeah, we know that a lot of Nigerians are I would say they are very disappointed in the Super Eagles, but I will always call on them to just keep on supporting us because that is what we need right now. Their support will make a very impact for us.
All right, Mayowa, you heard from Ahmed Musa. He's optimistic, but he's not giving himself a big chance to play against the Black Stars of Ghana.
Well, we all know the reason why he's in the team, and I don't want to dwell on that. He said the chair handed him a call up. We all know that they handed the chair Ahmed Musa. That's just the honest truth. We should not be, But in any case, that's my side. However, I think I like what he said, and he shows the kind of experience he brings to the team. I've said consistently, he can be part of the team, as part of the coaching crew, but not as an active player because I don't think he's going to give much to the Super Eagles. But he comes with a whole lot of experience. We have a whole lot of younger players coming up, and he will be able to share his wealth of experience with these players. The way he has spoken like a true captain, and those are the kind of things I appreciate. In him being part of the team, but not an active part of the team. Because for me personally, we already see what he can give us. I don't think he can give us anything more than what he has given us before. For me, if he plays, I think he's stealing a spot away from a potential young player that will be able to serve Nigeria for a very long time. But in any case, since he's part of the team, let's see if Excel will trust him enough to start a game for us tomorrow.
All right, if Eric Joe will trust him enough to start a game against the Black Stars of Ghana tomorrow, time to say will tell. All right, let's talk about the talking about the tragedy that struck in Liverpool. Since yesterday, there have been a lot of reactions as far as what happened in Liverpool is concerned. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk says he's praying for a speedy recovery for those injured when a car ploughed into supporters at the club's trophy parade. We understand that children were also involved. It's about 4 children. 4 children were included in terms of the 50 people who were involved in the were injured when a car rammed into crowds during Monday's Premier League Trophy parade in central Liverpool. And of course, the 53-year-old British man from the Liverpool area has since been arrested. Of course, it should be frowned at. Liverpool City Metro Mayor, talking about Steve Rotherham, says there are 4 injured people in hospital that are very, very ill. And of course, this is not what football is all about. And of course, even Jungle Club frowned at it. A lot of football fans have been talking about it. Maiwa.
Well, I think it's a sad one. It's taken away from the joy that is supposed to encompass celebrating winning the EPL. Also, I think the police should have done better. We are in the days where people drive recklessly and take advantage of this gathering to injure people or to even kill them. This is not the first time something like this is happening. I expected that the route where Liverpool the parade will run through, I expected that the police should have set up a barricade to avoid something like this. It's just so unfortunate, and I hope everyone that got injured. I wish them speedy recovery, and I hope those that got seriously injured. I hope we don't lose any of them. It's just so sad that this is happening where people are supposed to be enjoying themselves and having a good time, owing to the fact that Liverpool just won their 28th EPL title.
All right, and of course, it's pretty sad, and definitely that area should be more secured. How come a vehicle is even riding through us and that crowd? And of course, I don't know. They're even investigating for terrorism, and we all know a lot of people there are crazy. And it's unfortunate that fans who are supposed to be celebrating are having their loved ones recuperating in hospital. In a civilized country like England, we expect much more in terms of security and protocol when it comes to activities like this.
Definitely, you expect that. If you look at what has been happening around the world, I think these are the kind of things you expect the securities to be top notch. I mean, the Metropolitan Police were in charge of securing the route. I think they dropped the ball, and it's so unfortunate. I hope this will be this will serve as a lesson in case of next time. All those kind of places, the only car that should be allowed is the parade bus. Every other vehicle should not be allowed, and the police drop the ball. I just hope nobody loses their life, with what we saw yesterday. It's just so horrific.
So horrific, and we hope that those in the hospital will recover in time and join with their families once again. Of course, the children, it's a Children's Day. It's not a day to go and be visiting your kids in hospital. And of course, from here, we want to also say Happy Children's Day to all the children in the world. And of course, also say a happy birthday shout out to my son, who is a year older today. And I want to wish him all the best life has to offer. And of course, my wife, Happy Children's Day to the children around you as well. And of course, it's also a great day to also celebrate them. Yeah, the children all around the world.
Definitely. I mean, it's a great day. Happy Children's Day to every kid out there. And I hope you have started grooming your son to become a Liverpool supporter. But I'm hoping he's going to support Manchester United.
The blood is red, so definitely they have
he's
no
going to
choice.
support Manchester United.
Originally, the blood is red, so there will be Man United fans, definitely. Liverpool fans, no worry. I think that came out wrong. But it is what it is. And of course, big thanks to all our viewers who were all there to make sure that the children are celebrated. Of course, big thanks very much for being a part of the show. Big thanks to the guys behind the scene. Talking about the likes of Shegun and Sam, who have been getting all the hard knocks. Of course, making sure that the videos are available. Sam, we appreciate you. And of course, Paul. And if not to it at all, to Sports.